I feel like sometimes my problem, I actually was thinking about this before stream. I actually want to make a video about this, but I think a big problem with WoW right now is that it has way too much fat. And what I mean by fat is there's just so much like extra garbage content, and it makes the game feel bigger, but in reality it's a really tiny game. There's not that much going for it. It's all just a bunch of fluff, you know, a bunch of fat. It's kind of like, you know, you get a good steak and then you like cut into it and there's just like a layer of fat, and a little bit of fat is fine, you know, it tastes good. But when you're like literally just chewing fat and someone tells you, well, it's still a steak, it's like, I don't know, man. I'm sure some people like a lot of fat on their steak, but I almost want to say, like, I think pretty objectively, I don't think a game is good if it has that much fat on it. I think that WoW needs to do a better job of slimming down. It needs to focus on its core elements, and it needs to make those not just better, but it needs to make them a forefront of the game. And they can't stop just at, like, they have to stop just adding fluff content to make it feel better, because I think it actually takes away from the main game, you know? Like, I saw this today, man. Like, damn, this is unfortunate. I have my save. Okay, let's take a look at this, alright? Like, so this is the simple armory with mounts, right? Like, you can see, like, TPC, there's a pretty good amount of stuff you can collect. You know, you got a couple of reps. I don't think they should have, like, 6, 7 for each rep. I think that's a little much, but maybe, like, 3 or 4 is a better spot. They get a little better about that in Miss. I think Miss was actually, in my opinion, it was probably the best outside of the world boss mounts, which I think the world boss mounts are a little bit too much. I think that they border on a bit, like, insanity, where it's just so rare that there's almost no point even going for them. Sorry, let me fly back over here. Anyways, so I really think that Mist does it best, where, you know, a new raid comes out, maybe there's a new glory mount, maybe there's a new raid mount that comes out. You know, Throne of Thunder had 2, Orgrimmar didn't have one, but it did have, like, Hulan, it had the glory mount, you know. Oh, I guess Orgrimmar did have one, it had the Kor'kron Juggernaut, so you still had the mythic mount, right? There's a lot of these cool reps. Like, I think Mists of Pandaria did collection perfect. Draenor is where I think it starts getting a little too much. You have, like, a ton of rare spawns. You know, the world boss, kind of shitty. I think the fact that if you're gonna make it a 1 in 500 like Miss, I think having, like, man, it just feels so bad. You gotta go farm one boss. You see there's, like, a bunch of stables, a bunch of vendor stuff. Like, I don't really like this. This kind of feels like it's getting fat. Legion, I think, was okay. The class mounts kind of come with a lot, but then you also have these, like, garbage Paragon rep mounts, which, like, dude, really? Paragon rep? Is that, like, does anybody like Paragon rep? Is that even fun? Just, like, keep doing world quests infinitely for something? And you really see, I think BFA, man. I think BFA just fucked the game. They, like, I don't know. It feels like they went from making good content to making fluff, making fat. And now look at Shadowlands. Look how many fucking mounts we have. Why are there so many mounts for each covenant? Like, it's insane. Like, there's so many. I mean, I think even if you take away that, you still have, like, a ton of mounts that you have to, like, collect. And this is just mounts. I mean, I can't imagine toys and transmogs and all that garbage. And this is just 9-1. Imagine 9-2, 9-3. We're gonna get, like literally, it's gonna be like half a fucking page of just mounts. I don't know. I'm not too happy with this, because I think it gets to a point where it's just not that cool. And, you know, that's just unfortunate. I really wish that they would kind of take a step back and, you know, kind of design the game more of that, like, Mists of Pandaria Cataclysm style, where, you know, you're dealing with more of, like, the actual content. You've got some difficult heroics. The raids are kind of up in forefront. The patch comes out with, like, I think one thing I really liked about Dragon Soul, that tier, was even though I don't think that the raid was that good, it came out with 3 new dungeons, and I actually liked them. I thought they were pretty fun at the time. I think, you know, you do them now, I think they're kind of boring. But I thought they were pretty cool at the time. So I'm a little disappointed we don't see more of that. I think that right now that's kind of hurting the game, as they're putting so much attention to all this other garbage. And just not enough attention to, like, the actual good content, you know? Like, Torghast, man, Torghast is good content, honestly, and it sucks because I think that not only have they made Torghast kind of awful, but they've actually made Torghast into a chore, which I think completely missed the mark entirely. I don't think that's what people want, you know? I really think that they needed to just make it its own game content. I think they're really afraid of doing that, unfortunately. And I know why, and I'll tell you guys, here's why they're afraid to make interesting game content without some, like, weekly necessity to do it. It's because I firmly believe that Blizzard like, reviews and criticizes their content by player engagement. That's all they care about. So for example, they'll look at whatchamacallit, they'll look at a raid and they'll see, okay, how many players are doing this? Not just how many players have done it. No, how many players are doing this every week? Because remember, this is a WoW, this is an MMO, right? You need people to stay subbed. You need things that people will do once a week, right? That's literally it. You just need a reason for somebody to log on once a week, and you need to do this once a week. And that's why I think so many things are added. You get these, like, random weeklies that require you to do islands, and it's like, oh, go do 7 islands a week. Why? Nobody wants to do islands, and the people that do want to do islands are going to do them anyways. You know, the seven islands a week is only frustrating. I don't think it rewards anybody. It doesn't make anybody happier. All it does is boost your metrics. That's all I can think of. And that's kind of why I think Torghast has failed. Because once you do that, I think you can no longer make the game fun. You turn it into because a chore is never going to be fun. And I think they're so scared of making something that's not a chore because they're scared it will fail. So they make stuff that is guaranteed to fail on the fun side, but you're forced to play it, so metrics-wise, it still looks good. And I think that's what a lot of people kind of refer to when they're talking about, you know, like the Skinner box, or when they're talking about, like, a hamster running on a wheel. They're talking about these, you know, mechanics that just feel like you're kind of forced into them. You're not really doing them for fun, right? So I think, counterexample, right? You might be thinking, well, why would they add stuff that nobody's going to do, right? And there are good counterexamples, right? There are things that people will do every week just for fun, or just for some kind of, you know, content. Good example is what I'm doing right here. I'm farming Ashes of Alar, right? I don't really get anything out of farming them out. I'm probably not even going to use it. But it's like a cool little collection thing that I can get. It's easy enough. I can go and do it. Honestly, if this raid was fucking hard, I would actually love it. That would be super fun. It's solo, like, it's like hard little solo raid. That would be awesome, man. I would have so much fun doing this every week. But it's not. It's easy, so, you know. That's why I can literally just be AFK, like Alt-Tab, doing whatever I want. Now, here's an even better example, and one that I think... I actually, when I think about this, it blows my mind that there are people who... It blows my mind that we aren't seeing more of this, because I think this is WoW's biggest accomplishment, and that would be the Mage Tower. I think the Mage Tower just nails it for me on something that's fun, something that makes people want to play it for pretty much no reason other than that it's fun, you know? A lot of people will say that, like, oh, but that's because I had the Legion artifact. I don't think that's why people enjoyed the Mage Tower, you know? I know certainly it wasn't that way for me. Like, it's cool. It was nice to have, but I played the Mage Tower because I thought it was a fun challenge. And if I had more time, I would have played it on all of my classes, because It was just it was a good time. It was fun to do, you know. I really liked it. And so you might be wondering, okay, why aren't they putting the Mage Tower back? Why did they get rid of the Mage Tower? Why haven't we seen more cool stuff like that? And you know what? I think, again, it comes down to that weekly playtime thing. I think that the only reason why we haven't seen more Mage Tower-like content is because not enough people play it. It just doesn't get that same, like, weekly, like, constant playtime. Like, not everybody's coming back to it every single week to play it, right? Not everyone in the player base got a chance to play it. And more importantly, the people who did play it, they didn't feel the need to go back and play it every single week on their character. And it's hard because I think in my head, I think that's okay. I think not everything has to be an infinite grind. You can have these one and done. Whoa! Yo! No shot! I actually got it! Holy shit! Oh my god! Okay, this is so sick. I was gonna clip this and make this a video. Dude, I wanted to clip this and make it a video all about... Oh my god, dude. No way. Oh my god. Okay, so I was gonna clip this and make this a video all about you know, things to do, but wow, I actually got the Ashes of Alar. That's so cool. I guess I'll go over my last bit of thoughts and we'll edit out a little bit of the reaction. But that, what a great little what a great bonus for the video. Alright, whew, let's take a breath. Let's focus back up. Let's get on the mount. I actually really want to get on it. Oh my god, dude. I can't believe it. The Ashes of War. Oh my god, alright. Get it right there. Yo, that's so sick, man. Alright, we're actually done with TVC. Cool. Okay, whew. Let's get back to our focus. Let's talk a little bit more about it. And then, you know, we'll kind of continue on. So yeah, let's, what was I talking about? Mage Tower, right? I was talking about the Mage Tower. I think that the problem is that Blizzard doesn't like creating things that give you the sense of completion, right? They always want you to feel like there's something more to get. Like there's always, you know, better gear you can get. There's always another power-up you can get. You never really feel that sense of, I'm complete, right? So for example, Anima Power, right, was a really good example that you were always chasing the next level. And at a certain point, it became like pretty much mathematically impossible to even go up. But you always had to go for that grind. You were always trying to get to the next step. They never really let you feel like you were done with the game. They always wanted you to feel like you're chasing more. And I think that, unfortunately, it works to a certain extent. I think it does, I think it works really well with people's sense of, you know, addiction. It works really well with people's sense of, you know, feeling like they're gonna miss out. I think it really appeals heavily to people with the sunken cost fallacy, which is pretty common in a lot of gamers. And unfortunately, I think that it also appeals to a huge sense of burnout. And this is something that I think Blizzard is kind of missing the mark here. I think that they're unfortunately a little too focused on the metrics. They're not really elite. They're not really thinking about the burnout. And you do see a lot of people burning out. That's just the truth of it. I think that, you know, we can look at all the metrics we want, but it's pretty evident to me right now that a lot of people are burning out of the game. And that's something that, you know, I think needs to change with the game design. I think they do need to go back to creating more a sense of completeness with your character, creating more things like the Mage Tower where you get on, you know, it's very difficult to do, but once you finish it, you're kind of done. There's no real reason to go back unless you're just coming for fun, you know? And I think when you make things with that in mind, people will go back and people will play it. I think Asmongold actually was kind of talking about this not too long ago. He said that when you look back at the game, at least you can say, I had fun, and maybe I'll go play it again. And he brought up Dark Souls as an example, something that I think is a pretty good example, right? I think Dark Souls, very difficult game, very challenging game when you first started, but once you do, beat it, you're done. You don't have to go back. There's not like a million other things to go do. The game is, it's a pretty simple game at its core. Not that much fat. There's not a ton of lore surrounding it. It's mostly, hidden and kind of spread out within the game. And I think that game did really well for the people who like that. And because you had so much fun, you can go back and you can play again. I know personally, I love playing Dark Souls again. I think it's one of the games I've done a lot of playthroughs with, and holy moly, if you look at some of the Twitch streams, some of the Dark Souls YouTubers, they pump out playthroughs like it's candy. It's insane seeing them do it. So yeah, I really hope that the devs kind of start thinking about that a little more. They start thinking about like, what's our core content of this game, not what's the fat content, what's the fluff content. What can we add to this game to make it seem bigger than it actually is? Because, I'm looking at 9-1 right now, and man, I'm excited for it, but at the end of the day, the thing that I hate the most is there's an absurd amount of fat and not very much meat. And that about wraps it up. I don't know if I have too much else to say. Hopefully, we do see a bit of changes coming down that address that. But I think it's just a very difficult thing to change when your metrics are so focused on player engagement and not player fun. All right,